Okay, and happy Friday. We are live for another Fireside Friday. Thanks for joining us. Today's a really exciting Fireside Friday because we have Suba Sasikumar who's going to join us this week. Suba's a senior engineering leader with the business. She's involved in C# .NET development of our products and services. And Suba is also a cloud pirate. Now, what is a cloud pirate, you might ask? Well, cloud pirates are the team that won the recent AWS game day that we had here in Verizon Connect. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Suba straight in. Suba, hi, how are you? Happy
Hi,
Friday.
how are you? Yeah, I'm good. Happy Friday.
So I was just explaining what a cloud pirate is,
Yeah.
and I've done a terrible job of doing that. So maybe you could tell us, who are the cloud pirates and why do they matter?
Cloud Pirates is the team actually where we worked together on AWS Game Day. It was a team of three, so myself and Lorenza and Aparna were there. It was a great event to start with AWS Game Day. A big thanks to Nick and Brian for organizing it because for last 2 years we didn't have more events like that during the pandemic. But as soon as we are back to the hybrid model, they actually made this tremendous event where almost 43 team members were there, where in 43 teams each team had almost three team members. It was a complete collaborative environment, a completely hands-on environment where you are given a problem statement with a real life problem statement, and you need to use the AWS skills to solve those problems. So in our team, that is Cloud Pirates, we actually collaborate with each other to see. We actually were given five problem statement, and then we have taken each individual one problem statement. And to start with, we actually took the challenging task first, and then moved towards the easiest task. That's where we were able to complete the entire challenge before anybody else in the team, and that's how we actually won.
So speed to getting to the
Yeah.
solution was the okay. That's really interesting. I was talking with Brian Murray recently, and we'll come back to Brian and his infamous suit now in a minute. But
Oh,
he was explaining to us that the scoring system is in flux the whole way through the day.
yeah,
In that you can gain points, but you can lose points as well, right? But
right.
I didn't realize speed to solution was a part of that.
Yeah. So the main matter here is the team which scores the maximum at the earliest is actually the winner. So,
Ah,
so we need to complete the challenge quickly as well as without losing the points.
yeah.
Only then we can. Otherwise, there are certain points which is given for each statement, problem statement. So if you don't secure the full mark, then even if you finish earlier, you won't be able to reach topper because you can't get the maximum marks.
Okay, all right, very good. So it's this wasn't your first AWS game day, though, right?
Yeah, it's my second AWS game day. We had it, I think, 2.5 years back before
Yeah.
the pandemic. At that time, it was just six or seven team, but this time we had almost 40 teams. The entire floor was full of AWS game day people. It
Yeah.
was very nice to collaborate with, and especially during this pandemic, we were always meeting within the squad, right, within our team or anything. But after this, once we get into the hybrid model, when we met on the AWS game day, there are two advantages on that day because we also get to meet with Ed and Srini on the same day during the all hands. So it was two in one.
That's right. Yeah. So Ed Chan and Srini Kalapala,
Yeah,
Ed being the CTO for Verizon and Srini being the head of TPD, which is the product development group for Verizon Connect. The engineering department of Connect falls within that remit for those outside who may be unfamiliar with the structure. But what wasn't it brilliant when Ed and Srini were over. It was amazing to have them visit us. It was almost like a combination of different factors come into play. We had
Yeah.
return to work starting, so people were starting to get used to spending a bit of time back together and reconnecting, being in the office. We had Ed and Trini, the guys, come over from America, and that was really exciting. We got to spend some time with them, and then of course the,
Add on
the competition.
actually, and to add on, Patrick, on that day we also had AWS Expertise in the campus. So
Yeah,
almost 8 to 10 expertises came, and they are brilliant. Because in the day-to-day activities as part of our technical development, we might not be utilizing all the AWS services, but
yeah,
that is the day where you get time to explore the new services and see how you can solve the problem, because generally you don't do both of these hands on, right? You
yeah.
first learn the services and then start applying. But on that day you learn the services as well as you also got the exposure to solve the problem using that services.
Okay.
That was really awesome.
So I think there's something really interesting. Look, I'm going to be a very selfish talent acquisition person here. When we go out into the world, and we're recruiting for you, right? When we go out to the world and we talk to people who may be building software, building
Yeah.
product, we're almost 100% in the cloud in AWS, but we're looking for those skills outside, and it can be quite difficult to find them. And maybe some people don't have AWS, they have Google Cloud or Azure or whatever. But what I'm hearing from you is that, yeah, we're building product, we're engineers, we're in the cloud, but we're not working with every single one of the whatever it is 2000 plus services that Amazon might have, but we get to learn and play with them and develop, whether it's in the game day or on the job, right?
Yeah, we always have the resources available here in Verizon Connect. Because when I started my career in Verizon Connect, I didn't know about AWS. I was not aware about the services in AWS. We heard about AWS, but never worked on that. And the same thing with many of my team members. When they joined, they also did not have the exposure. So it is not mandated to have the exposure to all the services, but it is essential to have some general knowledge about why to go with AWS. We generally tend to like people who ask why should we go for it, and
Yeah,
why should we do now, why can't we do later. There can be n number of reasons. So we look for people who ask why, because that eventually going to answer almost everything. And that will also help to keep the team engaged, because our main motivation, and especially during this pandemic, we want to keep the team spirit going, right? So for
yeah.
that we need to have the collaboration and the interaction that won't happen if we are idle or without raising our voice. And one of the goals which we have in Verizon Connect is to be vocal, right? If you find any inefficiencies, immediately raise it out. And that is what we are doing every day. I think asking questions starting with why, that will answer almost everything. So having AWS exposure is not a must.
Okay, that's really interesting. So what you're describing there, I think, is what I call professional curiosity,
Yeah.
and I look for that as well. And maybe that's part of our DNA in here in Connect. I haven't actually thought about that. I'm starting to think about it now, though. But I look for professional curiosity when I'm hiring too, and the reason I look for it is because when people understand the why behind what they do, they're able to then demonstrate their passion for actually doing it and delivering it, and they understand the commercial impact and the reasons behind it. So that's interesting. So here's a question for you then. So you're professionally curious, but I think it's a bit deeper than that. I think you've got something in your DNA, and I'm about to jump into a story about you as well, right? But you've got something a little bit more than just professional curiosity, and the story is that after that your first AWS game day, just pre-pandemic, the story is that you didn't win at that time. You came pretty darn close to winning, right? But you didn't win, and second place ain't good enough for you. And the story is that, and we have our glass doors and windows and our walls here that everybody's able to write on, and we do. You can see it here. But the story is that you were up against the glass wall with the team, and you're mapping everything out and deconstructing your performance, the team's performance on the day, to try and figure out what could we have done differently, how could we have won this, where did we go wrong, where did we go right. So there's something a bit different about you as well, right?
Yeah. So probably that's what I generally do every day. I didn't realize that it might have been turned out to be like this, because on that day in AWS Game Day, it was completely different environment compared to this AWS Game Day. You know what happened on that day? We also looked into the cost. Like, if you're introducing a service, obviously you are paying amount for it, right? Because whatever service which you implement at the end, AWS cost also matters. So we need to factor the AWS cost and the service and the scalability, and obviously to solve the problem statement. So it is a combination of many things, and you can't move forward if you don't fix one problem, because it everything tied up together. So on that day we almost cracked it, but somewhere we missed. So we want to know, okay, where it went wrong and how can it be done in a different way. We don't know how other team members who actually won has solved the problem, but we want to know, okay, what proposal which we have given, why it was not enough, so what are we missing, and what are the elements which we need to improve next time. So that's what we were talking on that day, and it was obviously we had a AWS expertise on that day, and we were talking with them, and it was a great event as well. And thanks to Brain again, because he captured that right moment, and it's going to be my favorite moment forever.
I think so. Yeah, everybody I talk to knows about that. You're 100% famous. And just to note, there are messages of congratulations coming in the chat on the LinkedIn Live. We've had Alex Laurie over in Italy saying well done to and Keith as well. Go Cloud Pirates, yar is Keith's
Yeah.
comment there. So so it was an athlete. Who named the team? Was that you, or did somebody else come up with the name?
Uh, See, actually, while naming, we were just struggling to name what to name, and then we were like, okay, let's probably go with something closer to cloud. And suddenly, we just got the spark about pirates, and we just, okay, it's different. Let's Why can't we name pirates? So that's how it came.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. Okay, cool. So yeah, you touch on something else I think is interesting too, around the skills development. And I've just had a conversation this morning with a colleague of mine, Lorraine, in the UK, about hiring and job specs and that type of thing. I think job specs are antiquated tools for hiring people. We got to use them, right? But they don't do justice to what goes on behind the scenes, either here I'm in the office today, either here or remotely, wherever our people are based. But one of the things you'd kind of touched on was that you didn't necessarily have cloud experience before you joined Connect. In fact, Connect have been on a multi-year journey into the cloud as well, right? And we've only kind of really got there in I suppose in the last 2 years, a year and a half or so. But you weren't always in SaaS, let's say. I know I think you were with Wipro originally, and then you moved to GE. So
Yeah.
you were in the healthcare industry as an engineer.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us a little bit about your journey into engineering leadership over time.
Yeah, definitely. So I started my career with Wipro. And then I had a little bit break after my marriage. And then I joined back after my first baby to General Electric, where, you build product based on the RTLS. And it was an exciting project,
Yeah.
because you treat for the healthcare. When it comes to healthcare, you save lives, and that is the important factor which actually I got attracted to Verizon Connect, because through fleet we are saving lives. So both of the project actually is very close to me, because we are making an impact to the customer, and that's where we stand uniquely than anybody else in the market as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so from Verizon, General Electric, I was there almost for close to 6 years, and then I had to move back to Dublin with my husband, and again I took a break for 1 year, because obviously Dublin is a new country, new place for me, with completely new weather, and I had to set up a school and daycare, everything. But that did not stop me in thriving towards my hunger, because I always want to um, learn and be curious, and make some impact. And that's how I got connected. It was difficult for me initially, because I was not having the required stamping, but luckily I met with Lara from one of the consultant, and she actually took an interview for me, and then she was like, I really find something different on you, and you know what? I'm going to send you in Fleetmatics there, and that's how I came to know about Fleetmatics.
Yep.
I was just praying, okay, at least I have to be selected for that interview. And luckily, the next day I got selected, and the next day itself, I had two interviews back to back, with DJ and then with Wax. Uh, I got selected immediately, and then in the same day I had another round with another company. So I got an offer in both the companies, and I was literally, wondering which company to choose.
Where do I go? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it was a difficult situation, because obviously I'm new to the place. I don't know much about the company at that point of time. So what I did was I went to LinkedIn to those who actually took interview for me. And I found something very interesting in DJ's profile, that is the hackathon. He actually posted his hackathon project posters along with some of his playtime posters, and I was like, okay, this company is going to be not workaholic, but also a great experience for me to
yeah,
probably to open up and explore new things, because in GE as well, innovation is a main factor, key factor. And I found the same thing in Fleetmatics when I looked at DJ's profile, and that actually attracted me.
yeah.
And immediately I chose Fleetmatics, and till now I'm actually very happy that I chose the right decision, because every day is new for me. Every moment I'm learning something, sometime from the leaders, sometime from my team members, sometime from my peers, and even right now from you. It's completely incredible journey so far.
Yeah, it's great. And I had a conversation recently on one of these chats, but it's about that kind of breakdown, or the hierarchy isn't necessarily there, so you can talk to anybody within the company, and if you want to make things happen, whether it's projects or whether it's your career or whether it's forging new relationships or inventing something completely different, that mightn't necessarily have software outcomes or commercial outcomes, but could eventually lead to innovation or different thinking or processes or whatever. You can make it happen in Verizon Connect. You can do what you want, or try what you want for the better of the company. It's phenomenal. So you've touched on some really interesting things there, in particular when you're looking at the people that were already inside the company, including our former colleague DJ, who I get on very well with, by the way. I think he's a great guy. And the group you joined does some of the most interesting work within Verizon Connect. Now, all the other teams will bash me for saying that, but you guys build really cool product, right? Really cool. And I think the future of that product is still getting brighter and brighter. So it's cool today, but the tomorrow and where we could be going, when you think about artificial intelligence and
Yes.
what that is going to lead video products towards over time, what are the kind of question marks that you see down the line? Where do you think we're going?
First and foremost, fleet management, as I mentioned earlier, it brings value to the life, right?
Yeah.
Because when you go to the road, you need to be safe, and when you come back, you need to be safe as well, and that won't be possible without a solution like the artificial intelligence which we are proposing.
Yeah.
um, to be honest with you, now when I went back to India during the vacation, I was just thinking, actually, we are missing a dash cam for this cab driver. He should have been having a fleet cam, because the drowsiness and the distraction what they have, it actually impact somebody's life.
Yeah.
When you drive, it's not only impacting your life. When you are on road, you are responsible for everybody who is in the road,
Yeah.
not only those who are in the vehicle, right? And that's what we are working on. And as you rightly mentioned, video itself was a hackathon. It was
Yes.
an innovation video. And last year we had an innovation which is actually into production right now.
Yeah.
So we continuously innovate and keep pushing, keep giving the surprises element for the customers, and
Yeah.
that is what we are driving towards. Our leaders are phenomenal. Julio, Alex, Nick, everybody's working hard to find what is the best solution which we can give for the customers, and especially Jean and Sarah, they're actually working closely on that with the customers. So right now, very soon, actually, this month is a very important month for us, because we are releasing exciting features for the customer, right? Especially as you mentioned, artificial intelligence. When the user buy that, and when they get to know the importance of it, when they feel how it works, it will definitely change the way he drives, and it will definitely add more responsibility for him, so that he will make sure that every life is important when he is in the road.
It's amazing. That's unreal. Yeah, it's I mean the hackathons and the innovation, and it's funny, we could go home now and we could turn on one of the movies out there about the crazy big social companies, and they'll talk about being plugged in and the hackathons and all of that kind of stuff. But when you think that you're in a company that you get to down tools and innovate and explore a little bit, and the fact that you're collaborating with people across multiple geographies, people you wouldn't
Yeah,
normally talk to, you're doing innovation on purpose, right? There's a bit of fun to this thing, but then that you can actually build products that come out of that and within a year are going into production and are actually saving lives out there in the world. And Verizon, again, I think it's important to say, Verizon will classify the environment and society at large as our fourth stakeholder. The fact that you're actually building product that can save lives is huge. It's phenomenal. So that's really impressive. So major shout out to everybody in Connect, but of course Julio and Alex and Nick as well. You spoke about something that I'm really passionate about, which is life as a working mother, and being having to step out of work, and then coming back in, trying to figure out that pretty tough situation, which is getting childcare and that kind of thing sorted. But then something that isn't often spoke about is that point where you get to make the move to go back into the workplace as well. That can be pretty daunting. And I say this because my wife is going through that process at the moment, not for the first time either, by the way. And I have huge empathy, and maybe sympathy is the wrong word, but that's how I feel about anybody who would have to face into that, because I think a lot of the time the world is not necessarily set up very well to welcome working mothers back into the workplace. It could, or at least it could be better, right? But in Verizon, we're trying to make that as easy as possible, and at the moment we're engaging with partners out there who are going to help us engage in training courses to target cohorts of women who have been out for whatever reason. So for some it's childhood, for others it's other reasons, and they're coming back in. And the reason I think it's valuable is a it's a good thing to do, it's the right thing to do, but B, you're talking about people who are experienced, who are mature, who are educated in things that you only get through parenthood, right? You know, there are certain unspoken things, whether it's leadership or patience or communication skills or impulse control. I was only talking about impulse control earlier on today. So you know, there's a lot of things that we could do. And when I say we, I mean the collective we, right? The world
Yeah.
at large. How was your experience as a working mother coming back into the workforce?
Um, so definitely, I do a lot of planning. Without
I've
planning,
heard.
it won't,
I've heard.
won't work out. So the moment I wake up, I plan my day well ahead. Especially when I am in kitchen, I try to maximize my output with minimum effort. So I plan my time well ahead. Like even when I cook something, okay, what can go parallelly in the stove so that I can finish it as much as quickly as possible. So those I definitely plan, and it's a great support from my family as well, because when I first went for an interview after my first delivery, I got a support from my mother-in-law, who was actually staying with me, taking care of my baby, so I can go and attend the interview. And so family actually plays a vital role in the support. And obviously my children, they actually, every time I win something and come back, they are very curious. And with the bot which I got from the AWS game day, they're actually continuously doing load testing with Alexa, Alexa continuously. So
Really?
yeah, it actually brings the motivation from them as well. Now they are counting, okay, mommy, you have got these many awards, these many prizes, so I need to be like you. I have to challenge myself. And I feel really proud at that moment. Okay, I'm actually a role model for my children,
Oh yeah.
where they are
Yeah.
learning from me. And I always insist them, it is your life, you it's really up to them how they take it forward. You can't influence everybody in every different manner, because I strongly believe everybody is different, right? Everybody is unique. So you can't be like other person, but you can definitely bring the best out of whatever you have in it inside. And that's one of the challenging part in home as well as in office, because you have to deal with different mindset of people, but same time you want to go towards your goal. So that happens at home as well as in office. There is not much difference, I would say. Well ahead of planning is must to make the day more efficient.
Brilliant. I love it. Yeah, I mean, you're really, you know, you're giving them access to something pretty special, right? And you're broadening their horizons. You're broadening the world for them. That's awesome. I think that's absolutely amazing. I try to do similar with my girls at home, but they, again, to go back to the individual piece, they are so headstrong. They know they will meander through life and figure out what they're going to be eventually, but they know right now, today at least, they know what they're going to be, and
Yeah,
I like to think I'm able to influence them a bit, but they're the boss. You know, there's
yeah,
no two
definitely.
ways about that. So another question, on the back of that is work-life balance. And we touched on it really quickly earlier on, but do you achieve that work-life balance? You know, I know you're very analytical and a great planner, but do you manage to put down tools, and does Verizon and remote or work forward or those type of things, does it allow you to achieve a balance between your working life and home?
Yes, definitely, because we actually follow differently in our team. What we do, we try to avoid more meetings. So what we what we try to do at the meetings is, especially when we start with the stand up. If the stand up goes for 15 minutes, after that stand up, we try to stay back and discuss about the issues and solve the problem as quickly as possible, because we strongly believe, if we solve the issues in the morning, the whole day it's going to be more productive, right?
Yeah.
um, so that's one thing which we do in the work, to make sure we have the work life balance for everybody. And most importantly, to touch upon, in Verizon we have a flexible time. Like nobody asks you to come only in specific time range, and we always have the flexibility to inform the managers if you want to go somewhere or to take some break or due to appointments or something. It's all communicated within the team, and you always have a another person whom you can appoint for any work if you are not available, because the team is highly capable of anything. And as a leader, I strongly believe on my team, because nothing can be possible without them. And we actually work together to uplift each other.
Brilliant.
That's very important, I believe on that. And going back to home life, again, I try to spend some time, especially with my daughter, as she is now a teenager. So I want to spend more time for her. This is the age where they need specific time from the parents. So I try to make sure I have my personal and work life balance. I generally start my day early, and during this pandemic I also got time to do some yoga for myself. So I start my day with yoga, and then I go to the kitchen, I cook everything, and then come back to kids, make sure they have everything for the school, and then start my work, and evening walk, and then again spend time with them for studies. And as you have already pointed out, we have a different time zone people, right? Like we are in different time zone, and we also have GTS and Florence and Christchurch. Everybody is in different time zone. See, we plan, if we have to stay a little bit later, like for example, for any cabs, we plan well ahead, so we know who is going to stay back and how we are going to make sure the work life balance is not affected. So it's again, it all comes into the planning. A well ahead planning will make sure we have a perfect work life balance as well.
Planning wins the day. I love it. We had a comment come in from Keith on the talent acquisition team. He said we're hiring at the moment, and my question for you on hiring is, and I know you spoke about that flexibility around the technology stack, and I think the message there to people who might be interested in working with you and the team is, don't necessarily get bogged down on AWS versus Azure or whatever it might be, right? But my question on the back of that to you is, when you're hiring software professionals to come and join the team, what are the main things that you're looking for? Who do we want to talk to, or who needs to talk to us?
See, there is no limitation to that. It's actually there are n number of answers for this, uh, uh, because as I mentioned earlier, everybody is unique, right? And when we hire for a team as well, we try to make sure we have mixed level of technologies there, because obviously we need a different mindset to solve different type of problems. A same solution won't work out for different problems. And we also always believe that a fresh pair of eyes may definitely find a new problem as well as come up with a different solution. So we actually look at all these aspects when we look for in the interview in specific. We are, as Keith mentioned, we are hiring full stack developers, senior developers in my team as well. It is an amazing team, if you hear about technology stack which we are working, AWS, .NET Core, microservices, event-driven architecture, IoT, whatever you name, AppDynamics, Grafana, everything is there. And also to add on to that, everybody is doing the work as it is, right? But what makes us special, what makes our team special,
Yeah.
like we have innovation day every month, and we have a tech talk every week, 1 hour, where we meet together and we share the ideas. Recently in my team, Saban, he's actually giving a tech talk specifically on a book. on refactor. So what he does is he read a chapter and he comes back and he share the knowledge, and we look forward to share the ideas and empower each other, right? This
Yeah.
is one of the major aspect which I really love my team. And the other thing is the learning hours. We allot 1 hour every week to
Mhm.
upskill ourselves.
Yeah.
When I was meeting with Alex, he made a very brilliant statement that if you don't invest on yourself, why should company invest on you? So
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
you need to invest time for yourself. You need to upskill.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't matter whether what you are learning, right? It might be some new technologies or some new process. It can be anything, but you need to continuously learn, read, and collaborate and serve and empower each other. That's what we do. And another thing which I like more here is the internal innovation, because uh, obviously we have every team has their own goals, and in our goal we have along with the innovation we also have an internal innovation. What does it mean? It means even a small change can make a big impact inside the team. For example, when we moved from work from office to work from home, the first foremost thing which everybody has done is moving from physical board to the in-flight board, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's very small change, but it really makes an impact. That can be one of the internal innovation. And I actually touched upon the AWS cost. So we have to make sure we save the cost for our infrastructure, right? So
Yeah.
we have a goal for that. And what we do is, in my team, Kiran has come up with internal innovation that every month you need to go back and collect the cost report. So instead, why can't we innovate this? So we have a notification now. So by end of the month, we have a cost already calculated. So it's just a matter of time to just collect it and move forward. So it
Mhm.
saves the time. This is one of the internal innovation. And the other internal innovation which we done was on the work in progress. We work closely with Keelan, our TPM, and he suggests many ideas how to save time and how to move faster and more leaner, because we all work on lean improvement, right?
Yep.
So that makes every day a different day, a well accomplishment day, I would call call it. So that makes our team individual, unique. So anybody who wants to join our team, feel free to ping me or Patrick. We are open to discuss whatever questions which you have.
Amazing. Amazing. You're touching on you keep touching back on my favorite subject in the world, which is corporate entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship, or what you're calling internal innovation. It's so important. And there's a load of different models as to how to do it properly. But all of the different columns that we've touched on here feed into doing it well throughout the organization. And it's such an interesting thing, because something that doesn't, people think about entrepreneurship and they think sales, build a product, sell a product, make money. But change in process that's a non-financial outcome of corporate of an entrepreneurial uh, um, uh, uh, activity, and that change in process can eventually feed back into how the organization innovates again, and those things can have commercial outcomes, financial
Yeah,
outcomes. So
yeah.
it's absolutely fascinating. It's one of my favorite topics ever. So, but that's a conversation for a different day, I think. So, my final question for you, because we're over time, and I'm sorry about that. I know you're probably looking for lunch now, but my final question for you is: who should we talk to next? I ask everybody this question, but who would you recommend that I reach out to and speak with next?
Sure. I would refer Kilian, our TPM, because I always wonder, he's very composed,
Yeah,
in nature, very composed. But on the other hand, his work talks very rigorously. He's a rare combination of being composed at the same time, bringing the best out of everybody, managing across the regions. I would be happy to listen from him.
awesome. Thank you so much. Shubha, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. That was one of the most insightful conversations we've had yet. Our only goal with these conversations is to pull the veil back a little bit, and hopefully that person out there, it doesn't matter where you are, if you're in Brazil, if you're in India, if you're across Europe, or here beside us in Dublin, if any of this sparks an interest with you, we want people to reach out, connect with Suba, connect with myself. So thanks again. I'll let you get back to your work, get back to lunch hopefully as well, and we'll catch up again soon.
Sure, definitely. Thank you so much for your time, Pedrick.
All right, talk to you soon. Okay, folks, there you have it. That was amazing. So Suba is that story, by the way, of not coming first in the last AWS game day we had, but being seen and captured on camera, deconstructing the performance on the day is absolutely true. Suba was writing on the glass walls and going through what could we have done better. A phenomenal human being, an amazing engineering leader, and very inspirational as well. I love the different things we covered there, from being a working parent through to cloud technologies, through to hiring based on potential, not just tenure or the keywords on a CV. It's really important to us. So if you're interested in what you've heard Suba and I talk about today, reach out to the talent acquisition team. They're ready and waiting. They're hiring. Keith posted a link to the careers site there, but comment below, and we'll follow up with you afterwards. So as always, we'll wrap it up there now. I'll leave you with our Credo video. Again, that talks to who we are, how we show up, and happy Friday.
From where we work to where they live. From our technology to supporting theirs. From each and every one of us to each and every one of them. Everything we do affects everything they do. That's why how we work, what we believe, our values make all the difference.
We share our success with the community
to make the world in which we work better than it was yesterday.
We keep our commitments to each other and our customers.
We know teamwork enables us to serve our customers better and faster.
We focus outward on the customer, not inward.
Our actions produce measurable results.
We run to a crisis, not away.
We are committed to doing the right thing.
This is our credo. Our guide to what really matters. How we stay connected to each other and to them. We are Verizon.